A livestock carrier was sailing from Australia to Middle East carrying thousands of ships for the annual Muslim festival of sacrifice. It was a normal voyage exporting ships until something went wrong. Approximately 2,400 ships did not make it to port. They died of heat stress, some trapped in a bog of excrement, and one whistleblower from inside the ship filmed onboard videos and footage which shocked the world. So guys, the vessel name is Awassi Express, and in this video we are going to talk about the massacre which happened in 2017. Let's get started. The television footage filmed by trainee navigator Faisal Ullah and released to 60 Minutes and Animals Australia.
It is as same as putting animals into the oven. I mean, you are just putting live animals into the oven.
Shows ship crammed into dirty pens, panting from heat stress and leaping over each other to access food. The footages are very horrifying. I will link down the 60-minute program. You can watch the footage if you are interested. The footage also shows carcasses piled up and in one case thrown overboard, as well as footage of newborn lambs being caught in the bog despite the Australian standards of the export of livestock ASEL banning the transport of lambs and pregnant ewes on export ships to the Middle East between the warm months of May to October. Ullah said crew members also slit the throats of lambs and threw them overboard. It was the first time footage from onboard an Australian live export ship has been published. The footage was a voyage for Emmanuel Exports. The company loaded a consignment of 63,804 sheep and 50 cattle onto the Awassi Express, destined for Qatar, Kuwait and the UAE in August. A mortality rate of 3.76%, that is 2,400 sheep, was recorded. All decks were fully enclosed and all were loaded in accordance with Australian standards and recommendations at that time. After the footage were being aired, a routine investigation was carried out and the department found that the main cause of death was heat stress. The heat stress was unavoidable on voyages to the Middle East in summer because high humidity frequently pushes the wet bulb temperature inside the pens to the mid-30s, above the ASEL threshold of 30.6 degrees Celsius. The RSPCA says the notes and images contained in the reports confirm congested symptoms of moderate to severe heat stress observed in ship experiencing temperature up to 34 degrees wet bulb temperature and 85% humidity. Internal temperature readings of ship measured at over 40 degrees. Over 1,500 ships dying across the voyages from heat stress, injury and various diseases considered acceptable mortality rates, and multiple photos of ship that are reminiscent of the Awassi Express evidence. Perhaps even more alarming than the evidence of continued suffering on board these ships are the pages and pages of redacted information consistently where management of animals and heat stress on board are discussed. The government's released heat stress risk assessment report, developed by an independent panel of the expert in ship physiology and ship engineering, recommended changes to the industry's heat stress model that are expected to lead to the end of the May to October northern summer trade. According to the Animal Australia Live Export Fact Sheet, over the past 30 years, Australia's live export industry has exported over 200 million animals to the Middle East. During that time, over 2.5 million animals have died en route and many more have suffered injury, illness and distress directly caused by transportation by sea. The history of the live export trade is littered with disasters caused by storms, heat episodes, mechanical failures, fires on board and trade disputes. Animal Australia since 2003 has conducted severe undercover investigation of live sheep and cattle exports. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority (AMSA) inspected the livestock carrier Awassi Express 39 times in the 5 years before whistleblower footage showed thousands of ships dying of heat stress on board. Shortly after the footage was made available to the government, AMSA inspected the vessel again while she was docked in Fremantle, Western Australia, and demanded a third-party airflow verification report to prove compliance with airflow standards before the vessel would be authorized to depart Australia again. Subsequently, works were conducted on the vessel's ventilation system and an automatic system for providing water to the livestock was installed. The Awassi Express, built in 1990, has visited Australia on 27 voyages in the past 5 years from 2018. The inspections conducted include 7 port state control inspections, 4 annual surveys to validate its Australian certificate for the carriage of livestock, and 28 livestock preload inspections, the most recent one prior to April occurring on February 1, 2017. Emmanuel Exports has had its license reinstated after a 3-year suspension. The incident also led to a temporary ban on live ship export to the Middle East and prompted an ongoing ban on exports during the Northern Hemisphere summer. The Department of Agriculture, Water and Environment confined the company was allowed to resume export since December 3, 2021. The department also said that it had since strengthened regulations by implementing a ban on export shipping to the Middle East during the hottest part of the Northern Hemisphere summer. The department said it also required heat stress management plans for northern summer voyages, lowered stocking densities for ship on livestock export vessels, and required automatic measurement and collection of on-deck temperature readings for voyages. The significant improvements implemented by the entire export industry across the full supply chain over the past 3 years has demonstrated the livestock export industry is viable, sustainable and responsive to community expectations around animal welfare outcomes. Thank you guys. I hope you liked this video.